Please rise as you are able. We say here that God is good all the time and we are complete. So we're going to start with, we are a center of creation.
I am a center of creation. I am a seed planted in stillness. I am a center of creation. Fertile ground for the highest thoughts of God. I am a center of creation.
I forgot I have to do that myself today. So if you hear me talking when I'm not supposed to, somebody come tap me on the shoulder and tell me to turn my mic off. And if you see me talking and can't hear me, just do this and I'll turn it on. Now, welcome to our Sunday celebration service. This is the time where we get to welcome each other with a handshake, a hug, a holy high five, and if you don't prefer physical contact, just give us one of these.
Hello, Unity.
Join Tanette and his group Mystic Village for our sound healing journey on the first Tuesday of every month in the Unity Pyramid at 7 p.m. This is a time and a space where you can allow the sounds of flutes, drums, gongs, singing bowls, and other instruments to help you release tension, restore your soul, and experience peace. Come share the space with like-minded people. We hope to see you there.
that metaphysical Bible class I would say that's every Sunday. So if you want to come early, it's over in the art gallery in the bookstore building, and it's a drop in, drop out. You don't have to register or anything like that. And if you're not able to come to church on a Sunday, you can join it on Zoom. And then the sound healing journey, that's a new thing. Thank you, Reverend Shirley, for bringing that to us. And that is once a month on the first Tuesday. So lots of great things for you. June is a busy month for our Sundays, and I'm going to quickly go through the next 4, and then I'm going to focus on 2. Next Sunday is Friendship Sunday. After that is, that's Father's Day. After that, we have Mayor Whitmire coming to do our Lunch and Learn with Unity in the Community, and then Pride Sunday on the last Sunday of the month. Now, let's talk about next week, Friendship Sunday. What is that? Well, we did this last year, and it was really successful. We had a lot of people come. It's a really easy opportunity for you to invite your friends to church. What we're doing is we're seeking to be a solution to this epidemic of loneliness that our world is currently in. And if you know people that could really benefit from an inclusive spiritual community where everyone is celebrated, where we celebrate and honor our differences as well as our common desire to spiritually grow, this is a great opportunity. I promise I won't do anything weird in the Sunday message for your new friends. If they're not church people, just tell them this is a different kind of a place. And if they don't want to come, no pressure. You're not going to force anyone against their will, okay? But that's Friendship Sunday, so the message will be about that. We're also going to be saying goodbye to our wonderful interim choir director, although I know she'll be back, Stephanie Bland. She'll be completing her time with us as we've been on our search for a permanent choir director. And there will be a big time for fellowship and fun after this service. So it's a great Sunday. You don't want to miss it. And then at the end of the month, it is Pride Sunday. We celebrate Pride here at Unity of Houston as we celebrate Black History Month, Hispanic Heritage Month. We do honor and recognize our unity and also our diversity. And so on that Sunday, we'll have the service. We'll be including a ceremony to honor our LGBTQ plus members. And then afterwards, did I mention that we're a church that owns its own dance floor? We are a church that loves to celebrate, and there will be a party in the pyramid for everyone. This includes allies. And there is a ticket for that, but you will get a t-shirt. And so we ask everyone to come and celebrate this wonderful part of our community and celebrate and show your support and inclusion and your inclusivity as well. So that will be after the service, and you'll need to buy a ticket for that. Did I get everything in there? I think I did. Thank you for being with us. If this is your first time here at Unity, thank you. We're so delighted that you're with us. In the lobby, you'll see a table that has some gift bags on it. That's our welcome table. And if you would like to go up there and introduce yourself and get your present, and also you'll be invited to fill out a connection card. It'll tell you, it'll ask you to tell us who you are, how you found out about us, and whether or not you'd like to be on our mailing list. If you're watching online and you have not yet filled out our connection card, we have a version of it there in all the places where you might be watching us on all the platforms. And the point of all of this is that we're welcoming. We are here to invite you into an experience of spiritual community that is honoring of wherever you are. And we always say that wherever you are in your spiritual path, you are welcome at Unity. That was a lot of announcements. I need to sit and be quiet and breathe, and luckily we have meditation built into our service every week. So Julia is going to sing one of my favorite hymns to prepare us for meditation.
Thou my best
So I invite you to close your eyes if you haven't already. Adjust the way you're seated so you feel supported, with a strong back and a soft belly. A gentle, focused awareness is the best posture for meditation, the best way of being. To relax and be fully present without following the mind and all of its wanderings, but staying here in this moment. So let's follow our breath. Just notice the quality of our breathing as we're watching it come in, leave our body. Now begin to take that breath a little deeper, a little slower. And be here now. Jesus said that the kingdom of heaven is neither here nor there, but it is within. And meditation is an experience of entering into that kingdom within. We focus so much of our time and energy on the without, all of the needs and the decisions and the actions that we take in our lives. And for just a few minutes, here in this beloved community, we stop the doing and we enter into our being. There is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. In this sacred and quiet moment, I remember this deepest of truths, that God's life is living in me as me. Spirit and I are one. Within me is divine creative intelligence, infinite love, fathomless joy, limitless peace. This is the truth. And in this moment, I release my attachment to anything that doesn't align with that truth, any concern, any fear, any judgment, any resentment. I let it go. And I enter into the kingdom. I move into that consciousness of oneness with ultimate reality, right here, right now. Divine creative intelligence moves through my mind, through my body, through my words, through my actions, into all of my affairs. I move with a rightness, a flow, an ease in my life. Wisdom is within me, and I live from that wisdom. In this moment, I affirm that divine peace is my reality. Any anxiety that has been visiting me, that has been hovering in my mind, is simply a place where I have not embodied this deeper truth that the peace of God, which passes all understanding, is within me. So I open to this deeper truth right now, releasing old beliefs in scarcity, limitation. I am at peace. In this moment, I accept and affirm that the joy of the Lord is my strength. Any place where I have not been able to feel this joyous, abundant life that is mine, I now release any belief, any old idea or perception, self-image, identity. I let it go, and I walk in joy. Right now in this meditation, I just invite all of us just to let a small smile come to our face, to remind our body, our heart, our mind, and our soul that joy is here within me. In this moment, I remember that love is the nature of God. Love is the nature of reality, and it is the nature of me. I live in loving relationship with all beings, with all people, with this beautiful natural world. I move, I act, I speak in love. And for these truths, and for this quiet moment of contemplating these truths and holding them, I give thanks, and let it be. Amen.
I set out on a narrow way many years ago, hoping I would find true love on a broken road. But I got lost a time or two, while my brow kept pushing through. I couldn't see how every sign pointed straight to you. I know is true, that God bless the broken road that led me straight to you. Yes, it did. I think about the time I spent just passing through. I'd like to take the years I lost and give them back to you. But you just smile and take my hand. You've been there, you understand. It's all part of a grander plan that is coming true. Every long lost dream led me to where you are. Others who broke my heart, they were like it brought me back to you. God, yes, this broken road, I'm back with you.
Kowski. Wow, thank you. What a versatile singer you are, Julia. We're getting country a little later. I happen to know there's a Frank Sinatra song coming from Julia. So. Beautiful. That song does speak to our topic today. It's all about perspective. Have you ever had the experience of something in your life that looked like a broken road where you were going this way and it just didn't work out? And you thought, no, that's it, it's over. And then looking back, you can see, oh my gosh, that was perfect. That led to the right road. It's that moment where we think we have it all figured out that we don't. That's what I'm talking about today. I'm going to move the order of this a little bit. It just feels like the right moment to do this. I would like us to do an affirmation. I don't do this very often. I always feel it's a little cultish when somebody says, repeat after me, but I'm going to ask you to repeat after me. I have a mind that thinks amazing thoughts. My senses perceive reality in depth and wonder. Depth and wonder. Oh, you're good. I choose rightly and make amazing decisions. I understand my world and act accordingly. And I might be wrong. Oh, you did it. Okay, good. You might be wrong about all that. As a matter of fact, now let's just keep this thing going. Turn to someone and say, I might be wrong. Now turn to that same person and say, you might be wrong. Years ago, I saw a TED Talk, and I don't remember the woman's name. She was I don't even remember what she did, what her credentials were or anything, but she did this great thing at the beginning of her talk. She said to the audience, what does it feel like when you're wrong? And yeah, go ahead and answer. And people said, I feel embarrassed, I feel ashamed, I feel angry, I feel, those kind of things. And she listened, she said, yeah, no. That's what you feel like when you find out you're wrong. You're wrong right now. You're wrong right now about 1,000 things and you have no idea. So let's start there, shall we? Unity is an evolutionary spiritual path. We do not teach that you come in the doors and you sign a piece of paper, you become a member, and now you got it. No more growth needed. I was talking about this with someone just this week. Not that many people grew up in this church. This is a place most of us found when we were on a spiritual quest. We were looking for something that was different from maybe the tradition we grew up in. Not everyone. We do have some second and third and even fourth generation Unity people right here in our community. But for the majority of us, we got here because we needed something that would further us in our own spiritual path. Now, we don't want to judge other traditions. We know there are Catholics that go Catholic all the way back to Peter. We know that, and we don't want to judge that. That's, again, about perspective. But we, in this community and in our lineage and in the Unity movement, in the New Thought movement, we are about growth. And growth will require us to let go of old ideas. It will require us to see where we are limiting ourselves through our false beliefs, false identities, and that is not fun. It's not. It's painful going through a paradigm shift because we thought we had it all figured out, like that fake affirmation I gave you. It feels like, I've got this, I'm good, we're positive, right? And then something in our life will inevitably come to challenge our perception, and this can be painful. And this is always a birthplace of the new you. This is always a doorway. Weeks and weeks ago, I had lunch with someone who was going through some real things in her business, and I just listened, and I just said, I don't know that I have any answers for you. I don't know your business. I don't know how any of this works. but I do know there's a door in here for you. I know that. And every time that I myself have been at the end of a broken road, when my way of doing it just did not work anymore, I was actually at the beginning of a new path if I was willing to open the door and to leave some things behind, find new perspectives. Our values, we have 3, and they're a little different than most organizations use for values, but I really like them. I want to read them to you. Being. We live from our oneness with God and each other, experiencing abundance and connection with all life. Becoming. This is really the one that talks about our evolution. Through spiritual practice and through grace, we heal and grow, revealing the Christ within. And third, belonging. We create a spiritual home for all people, knowing that we are one body and that we belong to each other. The reason I wanted to read those is because our rock-solid foundational truth is that we're one with God, God the good. We have a commitment to seeing the spiritual reality underlying all conditions. That's what we believe, that God is present everywhere in all people, whether they know it or not. You're probably making a list right now. That God is present. Divine creative reality is expressing itself through all creation. And this is what sets us apart from traditional Western religion. This is what aligns us more with Eastern religion in that we believe in the omnipresence of the infinite divine, in, through, and as all of us. When Jesus said, "When you've seen me, you've seen the Father," in traditional religion, they say that, well, that was Jesus. That's what makes him the great exception. But then they skip over the part where he said, "And greater things shall they do who come after me." And Jesus did say, "I am the light of the world," but then he also said, "You are the light of the world." So we feel in unity, we believe that we are living a true Christian path. At least we're trying to. When we say to reveal the Christ within in our becoming statement, our being statement shows us we're living from our oneness with God and each other. We're all in this together. God is present. And then becoming, where we begin to work it through practice. Oh, that practice thing. I've been practicing a long time. I haven't found perfect yet. I don't know about you. Been practicing meditation. I'm still not that good at it. Been practicing prayer for 30 years. I'm getting better at that. I've been practicing seeing the world through other points of view and from other people's perspectives. I would give myself a solid C. Maybe a D in an election year. I don't know. But through practice and through grace. Grace meaning that God just helps us. Sometimes we are given such support in our evolution that we didn't even know we needed, have never known to ask for it, but we are given what we need for the ongoing becomingness of our own being. The being of God that we see everywhere within me, and I am revealing it over time and through my triumphs and my tragedies. More God, more good, more love, more joy, more peace being revealed. I'm becoming that which I already am, and so are you. Hildegard of Bingen, that great Christian mystic in German in the whatever century it was, in medieval times, she said, "I want to live on the green and growing edge of my own becoming." Do you know what that means? That means you've got to change some perspectives. You've got to be willing forever, as long as you're in this body, you're going to be challenged into revealing more of who you actually are and letting go of things that aren't you and no longer serve. And then one last word about our statements, the becoming. We get to do it together in a community that will give us a lot of space to grow. My friend Kathy Hearn says, in spiritual community, we grow up all over each other. But we build those relationships, people that will lift us up when we're down. I'm looking right over at that row. The 3B's Spirit Group, there are a bunch of them right there. I know what that group has created in their bond for one another. They actually helped two of their members move across the country. Now that spiritual community, that's not my gift. If you want someone to help you move, I'll buy you something to help you move, but that's not please don't ask me to come help you move. I'll support you. I'll pray for you on your move. You know, when I was a kid, I hated that we never moved. They had bought my parents bought that house that I grew up in 6 months before I was born, and they only moved out of it a couple of years before my dad died in 2016. And oh man, I just want all my friends at school, they'd get a new house. And it's like, oh, I want to have a new house. I wish I'd never set that into the law back then, because, you know, since 2009, let me go back to Dallas. I've lived in over 20 homes since in the last 25 years. Yeah, I'm ready to stay put for a while. But anyway, where was I? I'm just wandering now. Our becoming will require us to release old ideas. This is one of my favorite scripture verses from 1 Corinthians chapter 3. Now God is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. I love that part. And we all, who with unveiled faces contemplate the Lord's glory, are being transformed into his image with ever increasing glory, which comes from God, who is a Spirit. Sometimes the Apostle Paul would write these, women keep silent in the church. I don't care for that, Apostle Paul. We don't do that here. We don't go for all the rules and regulations. He was trying to build a religion, and sometimes he was, in his culture, in his time, he was doing things. But sometimes Paul would drop down into his own being and his connection to God, and this mystical thing would come through. And this is one of those. 1 Corinthians 13 is another one of those chapters where just the mystic truth is being revealed. But I love this part where it says, with unveiled faces. We all have veiled faces. That's our history, our belief system, our prejudices, our biases. We all have that, which keeps us from being in touch with God and with each other. But when we begin to drop those, we are transformed into the image of God with ever-increasing glory. In the King James, it says, from glory unto glory. And glory, you know what glory is? It's just, oh my gosh, the radiant, joyful beingness of divine reality. We are being transformed into that through our becoming, through our evolution. Okay. Now, what I want to talk about, now this is, Howard used to use this sermon illustration time to time, and I've used it once before and I really like it. It's a little dated. You'll see what I mean by that. A young couple moves into a new neighborhood. The next morning, while they're eating breakfast, the young one sees her neighbor hanging out the wash. That laundry is not very clean. She doesn't know how to wash correctly. Perhaps she needs better laundry soap. Her husband looks on, remaining silent, and every time her neighbor hangs her wash, the young woman makes the same comments. A month later, the woman is surprised to see a nice, clean wash on the line. And she says to her husband, "Look, she's finally learned how to do her laundry correctly. I wonder who taught her this." The husband replied, "I got up early this morning and cleaned our windows." And so it is with life. What we see when watching others depends upon the clarity of the window we look through. So I know it's a little dated in its gender roles there, but it's worth it, right? That's a beautiful illustration. We're looking at other people's laundry and judging, but we're looking through our own window, our own lens. So what this evolutionary path requires, even though we are moving from glory unto glory, it requires some honesty, and it requires some flexibility and some willingness to let go of our need for certainty. And we do it by faith. I attributed this quote to Brene Brown, but I found out it's just out there. Nobody knows where it actually came from. But the opposite of faith is not doubt. The opposite of faith is certainty. Think about that. When we are in doubt, that's the time we need faith. And so if you're certain, you don't need faith because you've got it all figured out. And there are many religions that will teach you that you can be certain about everything. If you follow our plan, you tithe to our church, you read our books, you take our classes, and you read our words, then you will be certain and you'll know everything. You'll have it all figured out. I grew up in one of those. I've been out of fundamentalist Christianity for, 38 years. But that need for certainty, that drive to be able to pigeonhole people and put the good ones here and the bad ones there, I grew up with that. And so I had, my faith needed some big shaking up, and it did. I got it. Growing up gay in that world, becoming an alcoholic in my 20s, those were kind of the things that was like, well, I don't fit there anymore. Where can I go? Thank God for that minister that walked into that piano bar that night. That's my broken road. So we're living in a time of great division, dualistic thinking, us and them, great tribalism. You see it, not just in politics, but everywhere. You're either with us or you're against us. How many of you have seen some of that, right? Well, I'm not going to comfort you in that today. I'm going to challenge you. You know, it's a minister's job to comfort the afflicted and sometimes to afflict the comfortable. So this next portion of my message may be a little affliction for the comfortable. Certainty is not going to get you where you need to go. I was looking for an illustration of this, and I don't know how I got to it, but I got to the story of Abraham and Isaac. It's a tough story. Even in traditional Christianity, they kind of don't quite know how to deal with it, because here's the way it works. God told Abraham to sacrifice his son on an altar. What? What is that? What kind of a God does that? And in the story, Abraham goes through with it almost to the point where he had tied his son on the altar. He's about to kill him because that's what God told him to do. And then the angel of the Lord held his hand and said, there is a ram in the bush for your sacrifice. That story, it's hard to put a metaphysical slant on it. I'll just tell you. I found one. I did. I found a Unity minister who had done something with it, but not quite what I wanted to do with it. I just want to use it as an illustration that when you think you know what God told you to do, sometimes it's going to lead you down a wrong path. A dangerous path that is harmful. I found a young woman rabbi in Macon, Georgia, give this sermon on what I'm going to show you. Now, I'm not going to tell her sermon, but she taught on this. And she taught on it in terms of our need for certainty in these divided times. And here's what she said. This does not come from her. This comes from the rabbinical tradition called the Midrash, where over centuries, rabbis have studied these difficult, thorny stories, and they've quoted other rabbis. They've come into it with a different, contradictory point of view. And the rabbinical tradition in Judaism is broad enough, wide enough to hold all of that. But here's what she said. Abraham is not a role model in this story. He is a cautionary figure. The story, now there was also a social justice piece of it. Human sacrifice was still practiced in those ancient times. It's a dark corner of religion's history, of human history, but it was practiced even by the Hebrew people at that time. In the story, Abraham never questions what he heard God say. That is a caution for us. If you feel like God's telling you to do something, you need to check that stuff out. You almost heard my bad word right there. You need to check it out. Talk to a beloved counselor, to a prayer partner. Talk to someone. Does this feel right? I'm feeling guided to do this. Now, I'm not telling you not to do it, but if it's violent, if it's harmful, don't do it. That's not God. God never would ask us to do this. In the rabbinical tradition, the next chapter, it doesn't give us a whole lot of detail, but Sarah dies, and the rabbis tied that together. They said this was when he came back and he told the story of how he almost killed their beloved gift of God's son, but he didn't. She immediately died. She was so shocked and heartbroken for what he had almost done. His son Isaac, there's never another mention in the Bible of the two of them ever speaking, ever interacting. So the rabbi said Isaac was so traumatized by this experience, he left his father's home and never came back. Now that's not the way you learned it in Baptist Bible school, is it? This is a different interpretation of this ancient story. And the reason I'm telling you this today is because certainty is not your friend in your spiritual evolution. It's dangerous. We have to become comfortable holding multiple perspectives. We have to become comfortable not knowing what the world is going to be moving to in the next 6 months in this election. We have to, maybe not comfortable, maybe just be comfortable with our discomfort and stay present and engaged. Talk to people who are in an alignment on your truth and your values and your principles, and begin to take action that maybe it's just this step, but I feel this is going to move us towards good. This is going to move me towards more alignment with love, joy, peace, wisdom. But you're never going to get the A to Z roadmap of how to live your evolution. It's going to be, I heard this in recovery, that it's like being in a giant cluttered attic and you're given a flashlight that illuminates exactly 18 inches. How's that for an example of how we are to do this path? I told you I'm afflicting the comfortable. You're not going to get the whole thing, but if we begin to take a step here, we'll find ourselves supported. We'll take a step here and we'll find ourselves supported. And I'll testify that after working my spiritual evolution this way for 30 years, it's working out beautifully. I have received more freedom, more support, more of those things that we would like to have in a spiritual life. They have come into my life, but not through certainty, through my willingness to trust my faith through my doubts. Okay, we ready to be comforted now? Is that enough of that? Here's the comfort. Beyond those ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. Do you know this quote? This comes from a 14th century Persian mystic named Rumi. We think if we get the right and the wrong way of doing something, we're going to find comfort, security, our path. And what the mystics will always point us to is a deeper truth, a higher truth, a broader truth. I'm going to read you, the whole poem. And this is translation by Coleman Barks. Of course, Rumi did not write in English, but this really captures it. Out beyond the ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. And when the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. The truth of our oneness, the truth of true communion with God is beyond the rules. It's beyond blaming this group for what happened and our team is the right team. It's beyond all of that. In short, what we're being called to is true oneness with God and each other. And the journey there can be uncomfortable. In the Gospel of Thomas, Jesus said, let one who seeks not stop seeking until that person finds. And upon finding, the person will be disturbed. And being disturbed will be astounded and will reign over entirely. If you didn't grow up with the Gnostic Gospels, as I did not, you didn't know that teaching. We've all heard the seek and you will find. But what the Gospel of Thomas brings us, according to the writers and attributed to Jesus, is a similar idea but with more depth. When you seek, you're going to find, and you're going to be disturbed. Because you're going to see that your old worldview wasn't big enough. That God is bigger than you thought. So we're first disturbed, but then we're astounded. Oh my gosh, God is so big. Why was I living in that little box of my old belief system when here is something broad and deep that meets my soul? And then after we're astounded, we will rule over everything. Rule is an interesting word for us, very hierarchical. What I would rather say is we're in harmony with everything. That's a deep teaching. And this is what I'm offering today when I say it's all about perspective. When you're locked in battle with someone, we had a trial and a verdict this week. Did you all see that? So I'll just say that I have members of my family who are very strong supporters of President Trump, and I have members of my family who are not. My close circle of friends from my college days, there are 5 of us. We are also in this same divided place in the way we're seeing this. What do we do? What do we do? How do we live with this? Because what we want to do is pick our version of the story that is right and go, we're right, you're wrong. And honestly, that's what our rule of law is about, so that we have impartial ways of doing this. So it's hard. But I'm not going to back up your ideology or your preference in this. What I'm asking us to do is, can you possibly see a world where people could see it from the other side and think that they're seeing the right way? Is that possible? Our dear friend Cindy Wigglesworth, who's a former board member here, and she wrote a book called SQ21, the 21 Skills of Spiritual Intelligence. One of those skills is called, let me get it right from her wonderful book. Well, I didn't write it down. It's I can perceive the worldview of others is basically what it is. And here's how she writes this skill view, the skill set. I listen to different points of view even when they oppose mine. That's called the first level of skill, at being able to see the worldview of others. You feel like you can do that? That's the first level of what we need to do. The second, I seek opportunities to learn and understand other points of view. The third level is I understand other people's points of view and I tune into their feelings, even during a conflict. I want to understand their thoughts and their feelings. I can get there sometimes, but I know when I am in that place, I can feel love even when there's disagreement. The fourth level, she says, is I have compassion for the hopes and fears that we all share, regardless of our worldviews. I can demonstrate to people that I understand their feelings. I have considered many possible worldviews and have chosen a worldview from which to operate. Doesn't mean I'm going to make everybody right. It means that I am working to remain one with all and understand how people can see this differently. I can still choose my way to see it, but to have this compassionate view. And then this is the highest level, according to Cindy's work. When I learn a better way of looking at things, I revise my own worldview. Oh, yeah. I got to rewrite my own playbook. Through compassionate understanding, I can put myself inside the worldview of anyone, including murderers and terrorists. Other people feel that I really do understand their point of view. That is a high order, isn't it? I think most of us are somewhere down the line from that highest level. But can you see that is the Christ path? Being able to see it differently. It's hard. Cindy told me a story once when she was living out in Kingwood, and she was driving on 59 for a commute every day, and it was when it was like 2 or 3 lanes. I mean, it was short, small little road, and the traffic was so bad because Houston had just exploded in growth, and there were people that would get off on an exit ramp, and they would go through the intersection and cut ahead of the stopped traffic on the freeway and get back on. Have you ever seen that? And she said she would get so mad. So mad, and she would just be locked in this, I'm doing it right, stuck here on the freeway, they're doing it wrong by getting off. But then she was beginning to look into this work. And how could I possibly put myself in someone else's point of view? And she said what she finally came to was that if my child were in a dire emergency and I had to get there, I would do what that person is doing. Now, I think she probably still got mad when people did that. And probably that's not what was going on with those people. Those people. A little bit. So the invitation for us, the practice, is to begin to, whatever degree we can, put ourselves in somebody else's shoes. What might be going on in their lives that they would need to hold that view and take those actions? It's hard. But the reward is our own freedom. The reward is our own growth. The reward is we're able to see God moving through that which is beyond my ability to figure out and understand and make it right. That's what we're talking about. And the second practice, that's the first practice. When you find yourselves in that divided mind, the us and those people, is say, what could possibly make me behave in that way? Can I find anything in my life that would make me behave in that way? And begin to try to see it from their perspective. And then the second thing I ask you to do is pray. Pray for them. Pray for you. But mostly pray this question. Show me what's here, God. Show me what's here. Because I get in that place where the problems are too big for my mind to figure out and fix. So I keep trying it. Have you ever done that? When something is not working and the way you're doing it is not helping, so you do it harder? Do it faster? Do it with more emphasis? Have you ever done that? I still do that. But instead, to lay down the struggle, lay down the war, and just say, show me what's here, God. And I promise a loving, more possible-minded approach will be revealed if you stay in that place long enough. We don't see reality. We see our own perspectives, our own beliefs, our own side of things, and it's okay. But there is a great loving reality. Iris Murdoch is a novelist. She's not really a spiritual person, but I love this quote from her. I mean, I'm sure she was a wonderful spiritual person. She's not one of those people. But the quote is this: "Virtue is the attempt to pierce the veil of selfish consciousness and join the world as it really is." When we no longer live from our biases and our belief system, but we are open to seeing God everywhere and in every person, in every situation, to know God is present there too, then we tap into the freedom that is here for us. Would you pray with me? And so in this prayer, we start with the highest perspective we know. God is. Reality is. Spirit is. The universe is. Divine creative intelligence is. There is one power, one presence, called by many names. But I know that this one is reality. I know that it is loving. I know that it is revealing itself everywhere, and that I am a part of it, and all of us are a part of this infinite, loving, divinely creative reality, and this is what we are. So anchoring in that perspective, what I trust and what I accept for all of us now is that we begin to allow the breaking apart of old beliefs and ideas that are keeping us small, broken, and hurt. And we open to a bigger reality of possibility, of recreation, of restoration, of reconciliation. That we are open to moving outside our own opinions and ways of seeing it into a divinely ordered, connected way of seeing it. And what I feel is that peace that Rumi talked about, beyond the field, beyond the ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I will meet you there. And so we rest in that peaceful coexistence as brothers and sisters, as children of, as expressions of the one life, the perfect Father, Mother, God. How graced, how blessed, how loved we are. And we rest in that awareness. Thank you, God. Amen. So I know it's kind of I can feel when you tighten up when I give these talks. This was the message that I felt needed to be spoken today. I will again, before November, I will call us back to this oneness consciousness, but not every Sunday. Next Sunday, we're going to talk about friendship. We're going to talk about prosperity. In July, we're going to do a series on the power of now. But thank you for listening to the message that was in my heart today. It's not one I really wanted to give, but I felt I needed to. Thank you. And as I say, if no one has told you today that they love you, I love you. God bless you.
Reverend Michael, thank you so and for sharing with us from your heart and giving us these spiritual tools that help us to navigate this life experience. Thank you so much. Now we've come to the time for the blessing of our offering with our tithes and our love offering. And if our ushers would come forward, please. This is a time that we drop into our heart space, where we give back to this ministry that gives us the spiritual tools to navigate this life experience, to live life and to look at life from different perspectives and to live life with joy and love, the life that we're meant to be here to live. And so, if you will, there's many ways to give. You'll see on the screens, there's so many ways to give. We've made it very easy for you. And I invite you to join with me in our offertory blessing. Together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all the good I am and have, all the good I give and receive. And so it is. Amen.
That's what people say. Flying high in April, shot down in May. But I know I'm gonna change their tune when I'm back on top in June. Oh, that's life. Funny as it seems, some people get their kicks just stepping on your dreams. But I know I ain't gonna let them get me down, no, no. Because the big old world is just spinning around. I've been a puppet, a pauper, a pirate, a poet, all the piece, pawn and a queen. I've been up and down and over and out, all the trouble I've seen. Each time I find myself oh
What a wonderful Sunday we've had. Wonderful, wonderful. I have a couple of closing announcements for you. Today is in our youth and family ministry. Today is graduation. It's promotion Sunday, where our youth will be moving up into the next grade level. And also, we invite you, the fathers, for Father's Day. Everyone can submit a picture of their father for Father's Day that will run on the screens on Father's Day. And our prayer partners will be down front if you need prayer this morning. Thank you.
I have a beautiful double christening of two little twin girls over in the chapel right after, which is why I'm wearing a tie again. I want to look good in the photos. And I won't be able to have a receiving line today, but I do welcome your comments, your feedback, and just know that I love you. But let's rise now as you're able to sing our peace song. Prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And today we declare God is good all the time.
It's a beautiful day.
It's a beautiful day.
In a beautiful world.
In a beautiful world.
So put a smile on your face.
Put a smile on your face.
Shine your light in the world.
Shine your light in the world.
Oh, it's a beautiful day.
It's a beautiful day.
Oh, in a beautiful world.
In a beautiful world.
So put a smile on your face.
Put a smile on your face.
And shine your light in the world.
Shine your light in the world.
Oh, it's a beautiful day.
It's a beautiful day.
In a beautiful world.
In a beautiful world.
Put a smile on your face.
Put a smile on your
And
face.
shine your light in the world.
Shine your light in the world.
It's a beautiful day.
It's a beautiful day.
In a beautiful world.
In a beautiful world.
So put a smile on your
Put a
face.
smile on your
And
face.
shine your light in the world. It's a beautiful